Oh, you know what? I just realized, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Brandon Bonanza show. I meant to share my awesome intro song, but I don't think I clicked share sound. Ah, sorry. I'm just rusty from all these oversharings where we do the Dow. Okay, here we go. We're going to start now, everybody.
Bonanza, Bonanza, we're hanging out. It's the Brandon Bonanza show. Bonanza, Bonanza, we're hanging out on the Brandon Bonanza show. Hanging out on the Brandon Bonanza show. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's the part where we trash the hotel room as rock stars. What's going on, everybody? Hey, welcome to the back to the Brandon Bonanza show. It's been a while. I've actually haven't recorded or gone live with Brandon Bonanza in a few months at least, and I have 2 episodes already recorded in the shoot. So don't worry, guys. We got 2 episodes coming out, and this is the first one back. Though I figured it'd be great with my friend Quinton. He did the lovely song that you just heard. He sent me that. He's the one who created it. I absolutely love it because I feel like it fits my channel perfectly because we really don't know what this channel's about. So just listen to the song. You'll figure it out. We're hanging out. I do have a quote for today though, before I bring it up. And today's quote is from a friend of mine, actually, hilarious comedian Rodney Norman. And Roddy says, love is superior, but fear has better marketing and distribution. So true. I love it. I love Rodney. Shout out to Rodney Norman. Yeah, what's up?
Man,
Welcome back.
that quote really inspires me, man. Like, I was kind of thinking on something like that, like, where I'm in sales, like I sell, furniture and stuff, and that's what I do, for my main living, and like, but I got to thinking about that, like, you know, like I'm all about selling stuff, but at the same time, like as far like as conspiracy go and like my belief system and stuff, I don't really. I've gotten kind of out of like trying to sell people on a belief system. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, like I mean, I get with people who get it, and I know who to talk to, and then I'm like, I know when to cut that off. You know what I mean? Because I've noticed that like a lot of truthers, like they get on a roll about trying to convince people to buy into their belief, and like I don't give a shit if you buy into my belief or not. Like that's what I believe. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't try to sell people on that.
Yeah, man. 100%.
Anymore.
Yeah, anymore. Exactly. I think we all have gone, most of us have gone through the stage where you wake up to some kind of truth and then you want to share it with everybody. You're like, didn't you know fluoride in the water probably might not be the best thing for you? And everyone's like, shut up, Brandon. You're ruining Thanksgiving. No, my family's pretty open to things, but I know what you're saying now. And that doesn't get any better when we start talking about belief systems. It probably gets worse. I mean, you could look at the
Yeah.
fluoride thing and like the moon and conspiracies all as another belief system. But when you're talking about someone's faith, like what they believe is gonna give their soul eternal salvation, then yeah, get out of the way. It's just, it feels like it's set up for that because you have like, so you have Christianity, and then you have all these different kinds. I say flavors, different kinds of Christianity, and then all they do is okay, not all of them, but a lot of them like to fight or argue about their views. And I'm always like, you know what? The truth needs no defense, right? Like if what I believe is true, I don't have to defend it. And I think it is different, and it can be different for everybody because we're so unique as individuals. Each person has their own point of view. Everybody has the way they see the world. Everybody, either you believe we went to the moon or not. So it fits in with that whole there's a quote I'm reminded of. It's like, there's one mountaintop and there's many paths up the mountain, or even, just many paths up the mountain. And that's why I like people like you, because you're very open minded. And I mean, I'm the same way. You know,
Yeah,
I'm friends with everybody. If they want to be cool, I'll be friends with them.
yeah, and it's like that's why, like, yeah. I mean, I'm a free thinker. Like, I'm not gonna hate you just because you believe differently than I do. Um, that's kind of why. I mean, I'm not gonna get on a big spiel about it, but that's kind of why I kind of like got. I'm not. I love the Bears. Who are doing the Bear thing, and I kind of had to get away from that though because I felt like you know you kind of lose your own personal opinions when you join like a group or something like that. So it's nothing against them. And I have a lot of Bear friends that I talk to all the time, and they're really cool. But I just don't like being a part. Like I like to be an individual. That's me. I'm an individual. I'm not part of a group.
Yeah, I hear you 100%. I've been like that. You know, even when I joined the United States Marine Corps, I did 4 years active duty. I still had my own little like way of doing things, and my own. I was still friends with everybody, and everybody knew I was just a goofball. But it's that same thing. I really feel like I can't be nailed down by one specific group or whatever. And I feel the same way. I mean, I have friends that are bears too, and on occasion I'll still listen to Owen Benjamin. I think he is hilarious. He is so funny. But for me,
Yeah,
I was getting away from a lot of just what was going out in the world. I just wasn't paying attention to any of it. And then sort of watch Owen a lot. It's tough because it comes in and that's what he talks about. And he does it so well, and I get it, and it sucks you in, and it is hilarious. But I go in waves, I guess. I used to watch Owen when he first started for a while, and then I stopped for a while, and then I got back in 2020, and then so it's just an on and off thing. I'm the same way. I don't like to make different claims about things because I think a lot of people, even some people, have problems with Owen. I don't really blame Owen. I mean, I don't blame anybody, but I think that
I'm the same way. Man. I'm
yeah,
I'm rooting for everybody. That's the way I am. I'm not like against anybody. I just like to do my thing, and I think anybody respects that. Like or anybody should respect people doing their own thing.
yeah, 100%. Uh, I just feel like certain people, you could. We talked about this kind of on the Oversharing show too, where if you put somebody on a pedestal, no matter who it is, you
Yeah.
start to worship them. You might not even realize you're worshiping them, but it doesn't do any good for you or for them. It's just a person. Owen, he puts his pants on two legs at a time, just like we all do. But
Except he makes golden. He makes golden plated records, though.
when I put my pants on.
More, more, yeah.
Exactly. I think it is cool
More
though.
cowbell is all.
Yeah. I think it is cool though that he did what he did, and he's doing what he's doing, because it brought so many people together. And I met you, I met Sharon, I met so many people. Zaralath is in the chat. He's here in Connecticut too. He's about an hour from me. Well, maybe more now. But I met him for that group. So I try not to have anything one way or another. I just live my life over here.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, the way I feel about it, like, I loved how you started out with that quote, man, because that really brought me into thinking about some things. Like, it's one thing to have a belief, but like, almost feels like sometimes, like, well, especially when your taxes go to stuff maybe you don't believe in, it's like that's another thing. Like, I'm all about financially supporting somebody if it's my idea, but like there's something really messed up with like people's money just being taken to do, and they have no say about what it's going towards. That's the only thing like I'm kind of against.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that whole thing. And I feel like a lot of people are starting to wake up to that whole thing with the taxation. And they're like, why is my money, especially when you drive down the road and the streets are shitty, and you go places and it's like, what are they even doing with this money? Oh, the wars over there. I mean, technically, they really don't even need our tax money because they just print the money anyway. So I feel like tax is more of a control system. It's just to get people to believe in something and to believe that they're part of it and all that stuff. And it's even worse, I think, when they hate what what the money's going toward, but they still have to give them money. Unless you're, again, if you're aware of it, I think, and you're conscious, and like you said, you have a great belief system. So the way I see it is, everything's perfect. It's just the way it's supposed to be. Some people work on doing things where they don't have to pay the government. I mean, if you're interested in that, I'd say look into it. But of course, I can't give any advice in that direction. But yeah, I
Right.
feel like I just do what I got to do, and I go along and I pay the piper when I have to. And sometimes if I can get away with it, and it looks good, then allegedly maybe I won't.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the don't hate the play, hate the game, how to. But yeah,
Exactly.
I know. It's like we all got to do what we got to do, and the game's going to go on with or without us. So, but but yeah, it's like it just makes you feel um well, it's just like they're always inventing something to take pretty much to take the everyday man that's trying to do the best they can, and then they're like, oh yeah, well we need to go to the moon. That's where they use it's just like a religion, just like any other religion. Like they're always trying to get money from you, like you know. At least at churches, they're not like you have to do this. At least you have like some choice. But like that's all I see taxes as is like a way to force people to believe a certain way, which is
Yeah,
kind of silly.
no, it's a great way to look at it. It really is. I think government is just like a religion. It's the same type of belief system, and you have to, or people experience, or they'll kind of show the same behavior. If you see somebody who's really patriotic and you try to talk to them, for example, about the Civil War, you'd be like, hey, maybe the Civil War wasn't what we're told. Maybe Abraham Lincoln, maybe he wasn't a hero. Maybe he was a dirtbag. I don't know. And then people just lose their mind. How dare you? Because I feel like they are worshipped. Yeah, that's why I have statues of Abraham Lincoln and George Washington and all these people, because it's like a conduit for our worship, or just really our attention. Um, and people just defend it on their own. You don't even try bring it up. I live about an hour or so from New York City, and to try to bring up what happened on September in that year of 2001 on that 11th day, if you try to bring that up with some people, they will go to war with you. They don't want to hear it. It was Osama bin Laden, and he hates freedom that Americans have, and that's what it was. It's like,
Dude, what's ironic about it all is like the Bible. Uh, well, I mean, if you really dive into it, like Jesus was all about not making an idol of him. It's like that's why he said don't make engraven images and stuff. It's like and then people like do the exact opposite.
it's, it's like, no,
I just think
we meant in this yeah, no, I hear you, man. The shout out, by the way, to Max is in the chat. Shout out to Max and Robo Honky and Zeralath as well. What's up, guys? How's everyone doing? You have any questions or whatever for us, let us know. No, yeah, I and that's what Robo says. Is a religion. Yeah, I feel like it's the same kind of thing. But I feel like it's great that we're all, well, the people that we run within our circles, they're starting to see that, or they have seen that. And we just don't try to wake people up anymore. We just kind of do our thing. And that's why we talk about what we do on the Oversharing show. We basically just talk about like how you can make yourself a better person. And a lot of the stuff we talk about is highlighted in the Bible, even though you wouldn't consider us, quote, Christians the way that most people are. But it really is about love your enemy and do unto others how you want it done to you, or don't do unto others what you don't want done yourself. if you look at it that way. And yeah, I feel like if people focus more on what they had in common instead of the differences that they have, they'd probably be a lot better off.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and I think, I mean, it's kind of stuff that you would think wouldn't need to be said, but it's like, you know, I mean, it's common knowledge, but, but really, a lot of people make that a lot more complex than it needs to be.
I coined a phrase in 2020. So Admiral Nimitz in World War II. This is something I learned when I was in the Marines because we learned a lot of Marine Corps history. When the Marines were taking the island of Iwo Jima, afterwards Admiral Nimitz was there on the ship watching, and he said uncommon valor was a common virtue. And I like to say in 2020, common sense was an uncommon virtue. Like the people that had common
Yeah,
sense. Yeah. And that's really, you're right. It's the common, easy stuff that I feel like when we're kids, we get all this, we're always told what to do and how to do it, and we have to act right and all this stuff. And we kind of, as we grow up, we get domesticated in a way, and we forget a lot of this stuff, and we don't trust our own instincts. But that's the beauty of it, because you can choose to start to trust your own instincts, and there's different things you could do. You could pray, you can meditate, you could fast. I mean, there's all these different ways. And as we do it, it's
yeah,
like a journey, right?
yeah. I feel that way about, I've gotten into working out. I mean, I've changed a lot since just last year, since we talked last, and I've really made it a priority to, really stick with my health and like get myself in decent shape, because not only that, I mean, not only do I feel better, but it's like it does something to you, like spiritually and mentally too. I think when you feel good about yourself, you're more able to communicate with others and help them feel better, like it just makes you feel better. Like when you're doing something good for yourself, you can be better fit to um, relate with others.
Yeah, 100%. If you start to feel better about yourself, then you even act better. So I think like just by going to work out, you're telling yourself, listen, I'm going to improve myself. And I feel like everything else starts to flow easier, especially working out. That's one of the things that people, they get into a lot of this study, like esoteric study and like religious studies and just psychology and all this book reading, watching videos and stuff. And so they're working their mind, but they don't work their body. And I feel like that is so important. I mean, I go hiking like all the time. All I do is walk in the woods. I get a really good workout at work because I'm a wedding DJ. So I'm always lifting heavy equipment, and it's really great. So yeah, I really feel, I love to go swimming and paddle boarding in the summer, all these things. And it really, you never really feel sorry for
Yeah.
yourself when you're doing activities, when your heart's pumping, you're always like
Well,
you're more in the zone.
you don't have time. Yeah, you don't have time to, because you're moving. It's like your mind's exerting so much energy, to do physical activity that I mean, if you get trapped too much in your brain, you can easily go down that path. It's easy to do, and we've all been there. So
Yeah, it's like a spiral, right? Like you're like a downward spiral, or like Owen would say, spiraling out of control. It really is. You could
yeah,
spiral downwards, or you could spiral upwards, and it seems like that's what you're doing. So that's amazing. What,
yeah,
what
yeah.
do you?
It,
Oh,
it,
go ahead.
it's like sometimes, yeah, we all have our and that's why I like doing stuff like this, because I work, like I paint furniture, and I'm always doing something, and I'm always talking to somebody, trying to make a sale, or I'm always busy doing something. But like when I can get away from that and just chill out and talk with a friend, and like, I mean, I'll smoke a cigar, but like I don't. That's not a thing I do all the time. It's like because like when you're doing cardio, man, that if you smoke, so like you're hacking up, but I mean I don't get into the habit of it, but yeah, man, I like to sit around and smoke a cigar once in a while and just kind of like let myself breathe, and like just relax.
Yeah, 100%. And I get these organic leaves. They're just tobacco straight up, and I cut them up, grind them up. I cut them up, I grind up the other stuff. I cut them up, and that's what I smoke. And I've noticed really, even when I'm like going hardcore hiking, because I'm a giant, I'm like 6'5", so I'll get my legs moving up a mountain or whatever. It really doesn't affect me too much. It's not that, because I've only started doing this like, I don't know, I'm 47 now, so maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago. So it wasn't even something I did my whole life. And it's not that bad, but I have had friends that are like actual cigarette smokers. And I think that the stuff that they put in there is really what gets people, because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
just trying to justify my tobacco habit. But you know how they used to say, though, they would say, oh, back in the day, doctors said it was healthy to smoke, and they ridicule, and they're saying that doctors are bad or whatever. But if you think about it, maybe they had a point, and it's just the tobacco, and maybe if you enjoy it once in a while, it could have some benefits for you. I mean, I guess it does. And this is funny. I've never heard this like in the movies, or you never hear this in pop culture, but tobacco can help against snake venom. So if you get bit by a snake, you could smoke tobacco to help ease the effects, which I don't know. I've never heard that, but I guess that'll be my
That's
excuse.
wild, man.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Because I
Yeah.
learned about that
Well,
when. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, man. You learned about it, what?
I was going to say I learned about it when I was studying all that, or I was looking into that guy who's talking about snake venom and how he thought COVID was caused by snake venom, but it wasn't particularly snake venom. It was like these peptides or something. It was super interesting. And I think I mean, maybe he has a point, but I was thinking back, because all that time I didn't really get sick or anything. And I was smoking tobacco. And he was saying one of the things that counteracts it is tobacco. But again, maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I don't want to start up that whole snake venom fight again with people.
Right on. Well, like there's some interesting things, man. Like I know there was I was watching back, you know, I mean I still watch that one, he makes some really good points, and uh there was one guy he had on that was talking about like you're like bathing in urine and stuff, like healing yourself that way. Which I mean, it makes sense, kind of like it. I mean, it sounds absurd a little bit, but when you get, I've seen like people used to do that when uh, they got uh, stung by a jellyfish or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like they would pee somebody, they would pee on somebody, and that would be the only thing that would heal them from a jellyfish. So, yeah, there's some wild stuff, but I mean, if it works, it works.
Yeah, that's the thing. Some people, it might work for some people. Maybe it doesn't work for others. Is that Tom Barnett you were talking about, the Australian guy? Was he talking about peeing
I
on
think,
people?
yeah, I think so. I think that's who it was.
Yeah, he
He's
always
pretty.
says
He
that.
seems
What's that?
like a pretty smart fella.
Yeah. Well, the thing I like about Tom Barnett is he tries everything he talks about. It's all from like trial and error on himself, which is cool. I don't follow him very closely, but I do check in on him once in a while, because he's a good dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Um. Let's see. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. I forget.
That's all
It'll
right.
come back to me.
I'll give a shout out to the chat. We got Robo Honky says tobacco will soothe insect stings. Max says I'm one of those Zen gays.
Oh yeah.
Robo says if there's a trinity to health, it might be exercising the mind, body, and spirit. I like that. And Woodshop the Wise, my guys. What's up, Woodshop? What's going on? Got some
Yeah, man. I haven't talked to Woodchop in a while, man. He's awesome.
Yeah, we've done some good stuff on the Oversharing show with him. If you guys want to check that out, the first episode we did with him after, I guess there was like this big public thing with him and the Bears, whatever. I don't talk about too much, but the first episode we did with him, there was a lot of people watching, but we didn't talk anything about that. We just talked all about like fear. We talked about, just how you can make yourself better, really trauma and stuff like that. So I try not to get involved in any of the he said stuff. I feel like the most important thing really is for us to work on ourselves, because then we, like you became better. I became better since we talked last. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, if you, but, and like having people with skills, man, that's one thing I liked about the bear community. It was like, I was always connecting with other people that were very talented, and they were all about helping each other out. And I think that's what was so awesome, man, is and I still feel like it's probably that way, but I mean, I don't know. I just got like a few. I'm not going to name any names because I'm not that kind of person, but I got a few people like, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. I was like, and then I'm like, all right, dude, I'm out. I don't do good with like people like saying, here's what you need to do. I'm very anti. I mean, well, I'm very. I do like, I respect people and I get that, but you've got to respect. It goes both ways. That's how I am.
Yeah, I've never really been well with being told what to do. I mean, my fiance, she figured it out. So she now, instead of telling me if she wants me to do something, she'll tell me not to do it. She'll be like, don't do that. Like, don't, don't
Yeah,
take out the garbage or whatever, don't take out the garbage. And I'm like, I'm taking it out. You can't stop me.
yeah.
I hear you,
I
man.
think we all. I think we all have a little bit of that. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. Because we were getting on like health.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I like I've been listening to like Mike Minzer and stuff like that, like bodybuilder. But like he was talking about like, I think sugar. I was watching one thing he was saying like, sugar isn't as bad as people make it out to be, because a lot of times, like, I mean, overdoing sugar, obviously, that just turns into fat if you're not like if your body's not moving and you're not staying active. Yeah, I mean, sugar is going to be bad for you. But actually, if you're like lifting weights and you're like being physically active, sugar can actually help. It's just an energy source, So like, it can actually help you rebuild muscle tissue and all that. But like, you've got to really like. I mean, I honestly feel like there's no like it's bad or it's not bad. It's like it's all about how you use it.
100%. We have a saying that I heard. It's like everything in moderation, especially moderation. So sometimes you gotta like have a good time, or sometimes you have to, or you just get a feeling to do it. And I feel like that's how we really learn. We get a true knowing. To know something, you have to experience it. You have to do it. So how would you know your limits unless you go beyond them? And I feel like if you're using the golden rule as your guide, then at least you're not hurting anyone else, and you could figure it out. But for 100% for sure, I think people will demonize a substance. First it's like, it's the same thing with we were talking about the pedestal and the pit. You put something up on a pedestal and then something has to go in the pit. So you have meat. I have this meat diet, and then sugar is the evil one, or vegetables are the best, and or whatever it is. And I feel like it's
when it
different.
when it, I think also it's a way to justify people being lazy. Like, I mean, like, people are like, oh, the reason I'm fat is because I eat too much sugar. The reason you're fat is because you're not moving and you're not. It's like, but I mean, don't abuse sugar. Like, yeah, I can see how, like, in society, there's a lot of things that are just loaded with sugar. So like, you just have to be mindful. Like, what you're putting in your body and what your body can handle, because everybody's body's different.
100%. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. I feel like certain people, maybe based on your blood type or whatever, I've seen different things. I haven't gone down many rabbit holes, but if everyone's different as far as like a belief system, then I think for food as well. I mean, you hear some people, I don't know if I've never met anybody, but I've seen things and heard people talking about people that could just live like breatharians. They just live on their breath, you know? Can you imagine trying to pitch that diet to somebody?
uh, I'm not doing it, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I know. I hear you.
I mean, you'd be pretty. I guess like I don't know. That's yeah. There's a lot of people that I respect. Like, and I like a lot of vegans and stuff like that. But I'm gonna eat meat. It's like it's like
Me too.
I respect you. You can eat grass and all and vegetables. I love vegetables too, but like I like a mixed variety, and I feel like meat does provide like there's a lot of benefits to meat, so I'm not gonna, but I respect people like, and like, I'm not gonna go all meat though. I'm gonna have, some carbs and I'm gonna have some vegetables and, but like, I don't know. It's like, I guess, um, like it's not all just for me. I like a variety of things. And I think, that saying the variety is the spice of life. I believe that's true. So
Yeah, man, 100%. I think we're here to experience different things, and just like we were saying, I feel like overdoing whatever it is you're doing is the problem. Woodshop says sugar isn't a real issue. It's high cortisol from childhood trauma that stops people from being able to lose weight. Literally won't allow weight loss no matter what you do. Yeah, there you go.
yeah,
That's, and then people, uh, I don't know. Because I used to be heavier and I lost weight when I got into all this stuff. I started eating better, but I also did, like you said, start exercising and um, working on your trauma and all this stuff, and it definitely helped me. So
yeah, yeah, man, and like, um, yeah, it's like your body is just. I mean, food is just a fuel, but if you're not like using your body and working it and like then you're gonna that energy has to go somewhere, and most of the time it goes to like fat. Yes, fats that it uses. It gets used as fat storage. If you're not using it, if you're not burning it, So like, main thing is just stay active, and and
yeah,
then you can eat I mean, not whatever you want. I mean, you still need to be like somewhat conscious about like don't eat fucking you know
plastic.
uh, plastic or donuts like all day, and then you're like, why am I fat? Yeah, because you ate donuts and you didn't do anything. Like, you sit around all day watching Dr. Phil or whatever, and then didn't do anything.
It sounds like a nightmare. But yeah,
Nothing against.
no, I hear you, man. I feel like a lot of people, if they, and another thing is if they figure something out, they think it's for everybody, and then they start becoming like a evangelist for their weight loss system.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I like learning from people though. I mean, like I'm all for encouraging people that like if it works for you, it might work for somebody else. So like I'm all for having people on, and I'm looking forward to doing my podcast, the Wolfpack Lounge, and hopefully getting people on there to talk about different things. Like, I've got people that have now you've written a book, haven't you? Or
Yep.
is that right? Okay.
Yep.
see, I'm looking forward to like, getting people on that's like written books and like artists and um, just all kinds of different things, just informational things that people can learn. And I feel like that's cool. Like I like just being able to connect through like a podcast, man. It's so cool. And like what you're doing is awesome. And and sharing, you know. So like that's cool, And
Yeah.
I love being on here, and I love uh, you know getting to learn from you, things that you're into, and vice versa, and all that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I love having you on too. I feel like it's the same way. And I'm looking forward to you during doing a show because I feel like conversations like this is just what they are. They're just a conversation. It's like friends sitting around a campfire. What would we talk about? And then instead of it just being for us, everybody can listen. And then people could get out of it what they want. Maybe somebody will like what I have to say and use a technique I use and it'll help them. And if not, we're still cool. Yeah. Our chat's
Yeah,
blowing up over here.
yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
100%. Let's see. I'm just going to check the chat here. Robo says I was flooded with cortisol from a pituitary issue. My weight changed with my diet, so the cortisol thing may be true for some, but wasn't the case for me. True, Robo Honky. You should have said it's a dysregulated nervous system. When you're in sympathetic fight or flight state, you can't lose weight normally. High cortisol is always associated with that, but you can have high cortisol and not be in fight or flight. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I feel like if you are, and I've been in that situation myself. It's like a constant fight or flight. You don't know what you should do. You're always confused. And I got like that when I wanted to create things previously. Sometimes I still get like that, and I have to take it back and take it easy and look at what I'm going to do. And like sometimes I'll take a break, like I did with my show. I don't always do it like I do with the Oversharing show, but I love that though because we have the Oversharing show, so it's like my constant every week. At least I have something I'm putting out. And then I keep this one
Yeah,
for when I go on my little spurts. Yeah, cool.
yeah, man. Well, I like I love both shows. But I like just chatting with you, and like I like uh I tune into the share Ed Sharon show all the times, so I like it. But yeah, I like just having a one-on-one conversation with people too.
Yeah, yeah.
And like yeah,
I think this is how it started, really, podcasting, people just having conversations. I got started by watching like Joe Rogan in 2012 was when I first started, and then I started podcasting in like 2014 with a comedian friend of mine. We were doing comedy together. But yeah, you just have a conversation, whatever you're interested in, and people, there's always somebody interested in what you're interested in. It's great. Or if they just want to kind of
yeah,
listen to a chat, because what else is out there for media? You got TV, movies, books, music. So it's good to kind of mix it up a little bit. A lot of people just rely on TV all the time. And I feel like, I don't know, they have an agenda. I think if it's on a TV screen, it has an agenda. And that doesn't mean I don't watch TV. And I started to, actually, in the past couple months, I started again because I didn't for a while. And I watch shows, not like TV with commercials and stuff, but I'll watch different shows or movies. And I've noticed that since I have this different outlook and I'm not like being a victim all the time, I'll still notice a lot of the stuff I do, but I'm like, aha, not this time. You didn't get me.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, man. And I like it. I like these better because you feel more engaged. Well, you are engaged. Like you can comment something if you want. If you don't like something, you're welcome to not like something. And it's like you have a say so. It's like I think people just get dialed into the. I don't even watch TV. I have it on maybe as background noise,
Mm-hmm.
but while I'm doing dishes or something. But I would much rather listen to an awesome podcast while I'm doing dishes than just like uh, you know um, I mean, I don't find anything interesting on TV anymore. Like I might watch like Guy Fieri, like a cooking show or something if I'm
Yeah.
trying to learn how to cook. You know,
Yeah, I was thinking
but
that. I
that's pretty.
watched Chopped. You ever watch Chopped?
Uh
Oh, Chopped is
But
it's a cooking competition show. It's from the Food Network too, but it's been on for like ever. And I like that's how I learned a lot of the things when I cook, just by watching that, you know. But yeah.
yeah, man, awesome. Yeah, I think it's cool, like having, but it's like, I mean, I don't see TV being much of a thing. Like, I mean, um, like, I mean, I still watch it. I watch like college basketball every once in a while, but I mean, I'm not like anti TV or anything, but like,
Yeah, yeah.
I really don't use it. Like, I mean, I'm not. I've got too much shit to do, like to not. I mean, like at night, I might turn it on for a while or something, but I really don't. I keep it off pretty much, or I, I, I might have like some background music for my dogs. Like they
Yeah,
like to listen to it, and it makes them fall asleep and calm down. They're not barking all the time,
yeah. No, I hear you. Music tames the savage beast. I learned that by watching Bugs Bunny when I was 8. Um, yeah, I think TV, it's just like sugar or tobacco or all these other alcohol. You know, it's like, are you going to sit around and drink alcohol all day, or once in a while when you're out, you have a couple? You know, is that how it goes? But it's funny. Max in here says we all know Quentin binges WWE.
Oh, he got me, man. What you gonna do, brother?
Busted. Um,
he just I don't want to be talking smack. I'll come down there and whoop his candy ass.
yeah.
Or is that the Rock or no wait? Yeah,
Austin,
that's the
right?
Rock.
Oh yeah, The Rock.
Oh,
Yeah.
Stone. He's like Stone Cold was. Hey, he's my favorite dude.
I'm gonna pin it on you so you're bigger for everybody.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's the smoking skull belt, dude. I got that when I was like 7 years old, man.
nice. Stone Cold.
And that's the bottom line, cause Stone Cold said so.
Yeah, and that's the bottom line. That guy's. I remember when he had those knee braces and he came running out with the knee braces on.
Oh yeah, he's a badass dude.
Yeah.
He inspired my ball.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That's 100% whoop ass on you, boy. Oh yeah.
Oh, you know what I was gonna ask you? Where's your show gonna be? Where can people find it?
See, that's what I don't know yet. I mean, I've got on. I was wanting to have it on Instagram, but sometimes they block me to where I can't go live. So I just don't know. I mean, I'm planning on having a guest next month, the beginning of next month, or the first. Um, so hopefully they'll let me on Instagram. If not, I'm going to have to figure out how to do this because I would really like to. I'd really like to be on YouTube. I'd rather be on YouTube, honestly. I just got to figure out how to work the Zoom. And the problem is, the only problem with Zoom is, not everybody has it, so it's kind of hard to get uh, consist consistent guests on like that.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't had it like you. I mean, you get quite a bit of guests. You don't seem to have any trouble with that. So, I mean, but like, I don't know. Like, I don't know out of all my Instagram people because I talk to a lot of people on Instagram, and I rarely use Facebook, but sometimes I do. But yeah, YouTube seems like a good common ground. Like, Zoom call is ideal, kind of.
Yeah, Zoom works out well. Most people that we have on usually do their own thing and they're used to Zoom or StreamYard is another one you can look into. StreamYard, but Zoom works for us. It's really easy. And the cool thing I like about Zoom is that they cut out the background noise so well. I mean, people don't even know. I'll do meetings all the time with people for my job that I'm a wedding DJ. I'll meet with them and they'll be like, "Oh, sorry, my dog's barking." I'm like, I didn't even hear it. Sometimes I'll hear like a little something in the background, but I think there's like a range that it cuts out or whatever. So that's pretty cool. Yes, Steve Austin is the coolest one. What's up, Tony? You are the coolest one. Welcome, Tony. Robo Honky. He hosts a Survivor style game now. I can't remember the name. Oh, so Steve Austin has a show now. That's cool. The Broken Skull Challenge. Oh, nice.
That guy's brutal, man. I hope I can get like in that kind of shape when I'm his age. He's like almost in his 60s, isn't he?
He's got to be probably in his 60s, right? We could look. Does anybody know how old Stone Cold Steve Austin is? There we go. I almost said Stone Cold ice cream.
I hope it's not too old.
Yeah, right. Let's see. Oh, I can always Google it. That's awesome, though. I wish you a lot of luck. And the only thing I could say to you really about podcasting and any of this stuff is to just keep doing it. If you like to do it, doesn't matter how many people you have watching. I used to go live and I'd have nobody or like one or two people watching when I first started doing it. Now, I just kind of went live. We had 7 people in here. That's pretty cool. We'll have more people watch it. But it really is. I think it's like how you exercise at the gym. This is the mental exercise. You get on here and you talk about different ideas. And there's that pressure because people are going to be watching, so you have a little bit of like anxiety with that. But I think the more that you do it, in my case anyway, I've done it so much now I don't even like get nervous about it. I'm just like, all right, let's go. Like my friend Pat Oates, shout out to my friend Pat Oates. He's a comedian. His show, he does a show now 3 times a week at like 8 in the morning. And the other morning I was watching, he does it from 8 to 10, him and his co-host, and he had a guest on. And I was in the chat just chatting, and the guest had to go at 9. So he asked me, he's like, "You want to come on?" So he shot me a link, and I'm like this on, probably just bullshitting. Yeah. So I think it's like a really good mental exercise.
Yeah, and it's not. I find myself like sometimes when I'm like right now, but like my talking gets better, but when I hear myself back, sometimes I can correct something that I'm not like. It's always different when you hear your voice back. You're like, oh, well, I sound like this or whatever. But a lot of things, what helped me a lot was like where I record music, and I've started singing, and like a lot of people get nervous about the way their voice sounds, but like I've gotten used to singing and stuff. And I've gotten more comfortable. And the more you do it, it's just like anything, like you were saying, like the more you do it, the more you don't even think about it. It's just like you riding a bike or, once you learn how to do it, it's just like, what's it called? Second nature or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Second nature. Yeah, that's a good thing to do. Go back and listen. I used to go back. I mean, I still listen to my things, but I would go back and listen to certain words. And if I repeated them, like I would say a lot, I just write those words down and I try to focus on not saying them. The one that I say now all the time is that I'm like, at the end of the day, I always say that. I'm like, at the end of the day, we all, so on Overshare and I limited try. Now I try to only say it once in an episode. But it's fun though, have fun with it. Because I feel like they'll make something, whatever it is, a song, a piece of artwork, a podcast, a comedy. They make it and then they just look at what's wrong with it and they focus on what's wrong, and that really discourages them. And, especially if they only try something a couple times and they're not that good at it, they feel like they failed. Whereas I feel like you have to fail until you win. You just have to keep failing. And if it's free, like this stuff is pretty much free. I mean, I pay for like a Zoom subscription or whatever. I think I pay for Canva, which is anybody, if you're looking at, instead of like Photoshop for like a workaround, Canva, and it's right on your phone. It works better on the phone actually than the desktop. this isn't a commercial, everybody. It seems to work really well. It's how I make my art and my quotes and stuff, and it's like in 2 seconds, you know. But sometimes you have to make a little investment. But again, it's not that much money. It's not like if you say you wanted to go start playing hockey, you know, like I want to try hockey. You got to buy all these pads and skates and like a puck and all this stuff. Whereas the way the technology is now, you can just do something off your cell phone. You don't even really need a microphone. Like right now, I'm just using the mic that comes with my computer. I have to get everything else set up again, but it still sounds pretty good. So yeah, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I wish this would have been around. I mean, I wish technology would have been this advanced, you know, in the '90s, you know, or even or early 2000s, like, you know, early 2000s even, you know. But I mean, you know, you got to, if it's here, you got to take advantage of it. You know, it's like, why not get? I mean, this kind of stuff. It seems so simple nowadays, but like years ago, you know, you had. I mean, to be, you couldn't do this shit. You know, you couldn't like. I mean, you had to talk to somebody that, you know, from far away, and not only that, but like we're visually engaging in a conversation. I mean, we take that for granted now, but like, dude, I mean, we're old enough that we grew up before technology. You know what it's, you know, we know what it's like, you know. But like, this is awesome. Like, I almost feel like we've got so much blessings in life that it's like you always hear these people like talking about how shitty life is. It's like, dude, you don't even know shitty. Like, I mean, I've seen some shitty shit, you know, in life, you know, and we are living in a good time, you know.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even when I started podcasting in 2014, I had a soundboard, I had microphones with stands, I had all this stuff in it. Luckily for me, it crossed over with the DJ world, so I was able to use all that stuff for both. So I was like one of the only guys in my area doing comedy that had this stuff. So we started a couple different podcasts, and then it caught on. But now, like I said, the microphone in your phone is good enough, a good enough quality to put something out for people, or just on my laptop. It's good enough for people, especially something like this. Now, if you're going to do music, or if you want to do like an audio book, or if you have some kind of special presentation that you want to make, maybe then you get a microphone and you can, you know, tighten it up, make it a little more professional. But for conversations like this,
Yeah,
you know, there's no excuse.
see, I've got the
Oh yeah,
what
there
I
you
use
go.
for my recording. I've got a
Nice.
little condenser. But
Yeah.
yeah, like you don't need all that, man. Like just to do this. I mean, there's no sense in buy. I mean, unless you're like you said, unless you're doing music or something, there's no reason to spend that kind of money to just to like unless you're doing like a radio show. Like a radio show, it's more based around your audio, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
100%. And the other thing too is you could start this way, and then if you get a little following, you get some donations, and then you could just buy the equipment that way, and then there's no money that you're even putting out of your pocket. You know, we get a couple of people that donate, you know,
yeah,
for sharing, and it's great. You know, when you get those donations because it's like something that I love. It's my passion. I put all my heart into it, and now I'm getting a little bit of money out of it. So now I could make the show better or use it to pay for different things that we use at the show. So yeah, it's great.
yeah,
So
man. Yeah,
if you
like
want to donate, everybody go to morelawsmoreproblems.com and or buy my book shadowworked.com. The links below. Anyway, go ahead. What were we gonna say? I do commercials every once in a while.
I need to buy your book, man. I just, you know, as soon as uh, but yeah, man, if I could get some like a sponsor or something, because you know that is the thing. That is a thing. Like in order to keep this stuff going, like you know, you got to have support. You know, so like when you know it might be a little something, but you know when somebody buys a book or you know like for me, I do my music and I've got merch. You know, I've got my shirts and CDs. But yeah, all that. I mean, all that stuff helps. You know, it's um, like it like I do like that what Owen used to say, like if you like something, support it, you know, and it's like that's what keeps things alive. It's still, uh, you know, you still have you still have some say uh, in America, about what you like, but you don't if you don't use it. If you let other people dictate, you know, what you do with your money and what you do, like you don't really have a choice. You don't have a reason to complain if you're not supporting something that might help you or better you.
Yeah, 100%. It's so true. It's really where you put your attention. And that's why we even tell people, the best way to support us is to just show up when we're live or hang out when we do premieres, comment, like, share it around. And speaking of that, shout out to Sarah G, PK, Morning Sky Dome. What's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? We're just having a nice little Tuesday afternoon chat with my friend Quinton over here, talking about life and love. Thank you so much, brother. Always glad to catch you live. Thank you, Sarah G. We appreciate it so much.
Oh yes. Speaking of love, man, you told me some cool information.
Yeah. So I'm getting married this year. I'm very excited. I met a woman in 2022, and we were just friends at first. And about a year or so later, we ended up um, becoming more than friends, I guess you could say, going down that road. And I took it really slow, which I'm very excited about. Super slow. I moved at a glacial pace. That's what my fiance Elizabeth, because I'm one of those kind of people. Sometimes I take a long time to get ready or leave or whatever, but I'm just getting everything ready. So she says I move at a glacial pace, which is perfect for me. I mean, I'm going to start using that on stage. I think but yeah, I'm very excited. We're actually going this weekend to New Hampshire up to my uncle's property, and because we're thinking about doing a wedding there. It's going to be in late August, and so we're looking there, and her cousin also has property up there. So we're gonna do it somewhere in the woods, and nothing too crazy. We're gonna invite some friends and family and just have a good time. But I'm really excited about it because I feel like this relationship is the next step of me working on myself. Because it's funny because you said something about what Owen said, that thing that Owen would say about men when they're like, "Oh, I like women that drive a Jeep, and I like women that like to suck dick, and I like women that." And it's like, you sure you don't like a guy? He's like, you sure you don't like a dude? Like. But it is true because as a man, and I went through this whole awakening with truth and all this stuff, and I had, like we were saying before, all the ways we see the world, and I had this set idea. But then when you introduce a woman into your life or a partner, there's now two people, and it's like a unit, and a lot of things that happen in the relationship, I always try to look at it now and to see if something. I mean, we have a great relationship, but if there's any like some kind of disagreement or whatever, I'm always thinking of how it's my fault first. I try to go through there and see it, because I feel like before in my life I would always point the finger at everyone else and blame everybody and be like, "Oh, it's your fault, it's your fault," and I'd always just like to defend myself and have excuses ready. But doing real, true inner work or shadow work is definitely when you get into a relationship, because that person is there with you. They mirror your behavior, and it's like you either can work with it or you could start to fight with the other person, I guess. And I see that a lot in relationships where it's like they call it dysfunctional relationship or whatever, but it's with all the studying I've done with human behavior and stuff, I see that a lot of times it's just like a misunderstanding between two people when they're fighting about things. I'll be hanging out with friends and I'm like, oh man, I can see like both sides of what's going on. So I think that if you could take the time to understand somebody else and where they're coming from, it just makes your relationship so much better. Oh, Balderson, what's up? Also send naked pics, that helps. Mostly the guys, but girls are okay also. What is he talking about? He's funny. What's up, Baldy?
I think it's it's like I was having a conversation the other day with my dad, and it's like it's kind of like us as guys, like for me, I'm a single guy, and like there's things that I could literally have nothing and be happy. But like you bring another person, or especially a woman, requires certain things, and then you've got to be that guy that provides those things. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's very. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, but you know it's kind of a job, but it's a blessing. So that's awesome, man. I'm really happy for you, brother.
Thank you. Yeah, 100%. And what Balderson said was he's like, you're talking about ways to support the show. Yes. No, don't send me the naked pics, but Balderson's hilarious. He said, I think there's some wind coming through. He said that there's some noise, but it's only when you're moving. I don't know. Weird. Not
On my
too bad.
side or what?
Yeah, I think so.
Window, I got it cracked because I was smoking in it.
You're gonna get in trouble. But yeah, I what you said is 100% right, because I was sleeping on the floor. Like I had a bed and I just sold it because I never used it. I started sleeping on the floor and it was so much more comfortable for me. And I had a couple like yoga mats and a nice like thing to set up, whatever. But yeah, the Elizabeth was like, I don't know. She like tried it, so we ended up just getting a very firm bed. It was like an organic one too, I guess. It has like all kinds of, instead of those crazy chemicals, but it's super firm and it's like an in between for her and me. So we met in the middle, and I mean, I'm used to it now and I like it. So every once in a while, I might take a nap on the floor or whatever. But you're right. That's exactly the thing. When it's just you, you're not worried about it. But when you bring a woman and then you start a family, there's other people that you start having to look out for and stuff, and it's a whole different animal. Yeah, this is what Max said. If I didn't have my family, I'd be living in a van down by the river with a music studio and my gear just making shit until I died. Yeah, I mean, heck yeah. Oh, he says, PK says, still here. Maybe a computer fan or something. I don't know. Are you using your phone?
Yeah, I'm using my phone. That is the audio not great?
Oh no, the audio's okay, but every once in a while it just sounds like there's wind blowing or whatever. But I don't know if it's just something on the mic. I don't know. But it's I mean, it's to me, this is my thing though. I'm so hard to distract. Well, I'm easily distracted, but I don't get annoyed very easily at things like that. That's why I'm a good poker player, because you go to the casino and people will be like playing or talking shit or whatever. I just like zone them out. Yeah, PK said it ain't that bad. Whatever. He's like, it ain't that bad. Well, we tried, everybody. But yeah, man, relationships. But like you said, you have to be also, what you said reminded me of. It's for me anyway. I had to be okay alone. Like I had to be okay with the fact that I was alone, and I was like, you know what? If I just end up alone, I'll just move in a van down by the river, just like Max. And it was like that acceptance. It wasn't even a few months after I accepted that. Well, actually, I probably was friends with her already after I accepted that. But like I said, I didn't even have any expectations of a relationship. She was actually in a relationship when we met. And then she was the one who came to me and was like, you know what? I like you, not this guy so much. We're gonna work on this. So she even told him first, broke off that, and then that's when we started to take the next step. But yeah, it was I don't know, it's crazy. And it's funny because Sharon got into a relationship right around the time I did. We were both talking about the same kind of things, and we were both single. So it's funny how that works out. I tell people, don't rush it. Everything that I had to do up to where I am now is I had to go through it.
Well, I mean, it's like, like it's a good thing to like be. That's one great thing though, like about being a guy, being minimalistic. But like when and then you get a wife or kids or whatever, it just adds to your life, man. And like you do have to die a little bit to yourself, but then you gain so much more, and you gotta be cool with that. You gotta be like able to get away from your selfishness and be like, that's okay. I don't need, like all I need is to, support and you know be a supporter, and like because that's kind of your job, like when you take on that role.
Yeah, it's you kind of trusting the plan, right? You're like God will provide however you see it through anyone who's
Yeah,
listening through your lens of this cosmology. It's like, isn't this God's plan? Um, or Budala. I'm going to start calling him Budala because that's in some of the Dune books. There's a religion, the Fremen or this religion, Zen Sunni. So like Frank Herbert mixed Islam a little bit with Buddhism. So they have Budala that they pray to. It's pretty interesting. But anyway, so if you who whoever you believe or whatever your cosmology is, it's just a plan. And you're right, you have to it's about letting go. It really is about like that death and then rising after ashes like the phoenix. And you are a better person now and a better union with this other person. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. Um, I especially because I'm a DJ, it's really funny, but I don't really we're not going to go, like I said, we're going to do like something smaller. We're not going to go too crazy, but I'm just excited. It's nice to save my fiance and
I don't.
my wife. Go ahead.
Yeah, what you were saying, man, it reminded me of. You ever watched the movie Grandma's Boy?
Yeah.
Like I was a bird and I flew down to be with the dolphins or whatever. And he's like, "Where do you get your weed from, Dante?"
Exactly. Yeah.
He's like, "I'm from you" or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, from you. Yeah, exactly. I gotta watch that movie again. It's been a while. I like the Adam Sandler movies. I feel like there's always something in the Adam Sandler movies that you could get out of it. And especially, like we were saying earlier, a lot of people talk about how TV and movies and stuff is all about programming. But I feel like if you're aware of the programming and it doesn't make you a victim, then you could still get out of it because there is that truth. Like they have to put, or whatever, the best movies always contain truth, but then there's always that little bit of gravel or, a little lie in there. So I think it's up to you to pick up, or it's up to us to pick out that lie and then take the good stuff.
Yeah. Go to your happy place.
Yeah. Chew the meat and spit out the bones.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Yeah, I'm really happy for you, man. And I'm probably gonna get off here. And speaking of meat, I'm gonna go eat me some food.
Sounds like a great idea. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Why don't you say again where people can find you? I'll put links below too. Make sure I put some in there. Make sure those are right, and then whenever you go back, and if they're not, I'll just change them. But where can people find you?
Yeah, just basically, my Instagram is the awoken _wolf. You can find me on there. And then my Facebook is Ferrell Quinton. And then my music, you can listen to my music on Quinton Ferrell and the Awoken. So that's all for now. But hopefully I'll get my podcast up and going and have some other spot. I'll let everybody know where that's going to be at.
Awesome. Well, good stuff. And one last shout out to the chat, by the way. Thank you guys for hanging out so much. We have a question. Somebody says, "Are you going to get legally married?" And that's something that I was really not sure of. And I spoke with my friend Balderson, who's in the chat. Shout out to him. And he had a really good perspective on it, which was if you get legally married, then it helps cut through a lot of different red tape, things you might not even think of. Like, for example, if God forbid your wife ever was in the hospital and you needed to make decisions for her or go see her or whatever it is, it's always good to have that, piece of paper or whatever that says it. And the way that I live my life, because before I didn't want to get legally married. So after listening to Ben talk about stuff like that, and then also the stuff we talk about all the time, which is like, I just don't have fear of things. So if I am going to do this, system paperwork and send it to them, I'm not going to have any fear that it's going to affect me in any negative way. And I'm just going to stay away from it, But but PX, oh, that's me, right? PK, sorry, PX, PK. If you have another way or some kind of something to add to that, if you want, either while we're about to get off, but leave a comment, let me know. I can always talk about that in a future episode, or I'm always open to different interpretations. But that what Ben said to me, I think, really makes a lot of sense when he said that. I was like, oh yeah, because my future wife, her mom lives in North Carolina, and her dad does live around here. But what if I had to get something done? I don't want to have to rely on trying to get a hold of one of her parents to try to get to a hospital. It's like, no, I'm just going to show up and be like, that's my wife. This is what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah. Well, anyway, thank you, Quinton, so much. What's that?
I agree. Yeah, but like I agree with you. And like there is some things in a legal marriage that protects both parties, and so I don't know. I mean, I've never been down that, like you said, going down that road.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Yeah, women. So all the women are listening.
Man.
Quinn's on the market, so hit them up. Yeah, I think everybody's like to each his own, right? It's another. Oh, he just says he's curious. Yeah, no, I get it. Thanks, PK. I appreciate it. What was I going to say? Oh, Sarah says congratulations. Thank you. My friend Robo says my friend has a family with a woman. They're together 10 or more years. He had a mental health crisis and she couldn't get help because she wasn't his wife technically. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's the thing about somebody like me is somebody might say I'm having a mental health crisis, but it's not. I'm just in a store like trying to defend myself from somebody who's trying to make me wear a mask or something. You know what I mean? So yeah, those terms like mentally ill, if you get something like that attached to somebody, it's good to have someone sane that's attached to you that can come down and pull you out of the police station, right? Yeah, no, 100%. But again, it's for everybody. Some people, they don't need it. Good for them, But thank you so much, Quinton. This was great. I'm glad that you hit me up and we're doing this. And I'm looking forward to being on your show. So everybody look for that. I'm going to be on there in May. So we'll be on his show, scatting again, doing some talking. Let's see, the best way to support me, morelawsmoreproblems.com. It's my website I've had for 11 years now, so go check out that. I got a blog on there I've been writing on forever. Some cool memes, videos, all kinds of stuff. You can get my book through there. There's a link, all that stuff. So check that out, and have a great day, guys. We'll see you. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be on Instagram. So if all